Hi, I'm Katy Derbyshire, and I'm reading from Paula by Sandra Hoffmann in my translation. I'll start from the beginning. We have a word in German, schweigen. It means deliberately remaining silent. It is different to merely being quiet. Schweigen offers nothing to hold on to, not even if you reach deep into your pockets for a coin to flip between your fingers or a shopping list on a scrap of paper. You hear from somewhere else or from inside yourself the dark sounds of muteness turning against you. You hear them as rumbling, as murmuring, as ongoing grumbling, muttering, somewhere far away and yet also near. As though all the unspoken words were seeking ways out of that mute body and into the room, forging their way to you. They rob you of your peace and of your sleep. Schweigen, when someone lives close beside you and remains so silent, swallows down every word so unrelentingly that there is nothing left over, not for you or anyone else. Schweigen at the table when the knives and forks scrape against plates, when someone, just one voice, says, "Could you pass the salt, please?" and someone else passes it. And above it all, that deliberate silence that seems to eat you up, you and all your good summers and your few good winters, as though joy itself might never return. And you hear the sound of stockinged legs moving under the table and the dog brushing past the chair, a cough or a throat muscle constricting as glugs of water go down. When the sounds of bodies have occupied so much space that there's nothing but density in the room, a buffer against the outside world. That deliberate silence ends up trapped in every crack of a house. It radiates, emanates, makes a house into a fortress, and the only possible release is a drastic end. You can stay and die, or you can leave. In that quiet, though, even a tractor outside in the road would be a beautiful sound. A promise, someone mowing the field for the first time in the year, the day still light. The world would be there again, bright light and language. My grandmother Paula died on the 10th of November 1997 at the age of 82. She never talked about herself, not to the very end. She took her whole life to the grave, all her secrets and all her troubles. When I run through the park in the morning, jog around the lake and hear the swans and waterfowl, when I watch the mandarin ducks luminous like bright dots among the other birds, I often think of my grandmother, dead for 18 years now, and I think of my parents. I'd like to show them the park, the dogs I pass regularly on my run, the lovely spots on the side streams of the Eisbach, the water surface occasionally brushed by willows. The men face down on the ground next to their personal trainers, doing complicated gymnastic manoeuvres, or hitting a small punch bag suspended from a tree over and over and over to make them feel strong for whatever reason. I'd like to show them the yogis saluting the sun, the Japanese woman swimming her arms oddly as she walks. I see the surfers on the Eisbach wave, and sometimes I stop to watch them. I watch these strangers and I'm glad of them, glad I can weave my way between them, and without speaking to them I know I'm happy that they're here. I'd like to say to my family, look, this is where I live now. This is how my life has turned out and it's fine. But my grandmother is dead, and my parents aren't really interested in any lives not directly related to theirs. I talk to them as I run. I show them my world in my mind, and it always makes me sad. That deliberate silence has been passed down the generations. 1915 was the year of the wood rabbit in the Chinese calendar. The German politician Franz Josef Strauss was born, Ingrid Bergman, Edith Piaf too, Frank Sinatra, Pinochet. It was the second year of the First World War. The first International Women's Peace Congress was held in The Hague. Albert Einstein talked publicly about his theory of relativity, and Virginia Woolf published her debut novel. Paula was born on All Hallows Day, the 1st of November, in a small village in the middle of Catholic Upper Swabia. She was her parents' first child. The conditions Paula was born into were modest. Her family did not have much money. She grew up with 2 sisters and a brother who died on the front in the Second World War. She did talk about his death. Over and over, more often than I wanted to hear it. He died in the war. That was Paula's story, 5 words long. When she died, it was the end of the story of a woman I know little about. She experienced a world war, gave birth to 2 children. She profited from Germany's post-war boom, but never learned a trade and was like a guest worker in her own country. Cleaning lady was the name of the job she did. Sometimes I can sense her voice. I listen to her like I listened to her sister Marie. She's dead now too. I listen to her like I listened to my mother, who has long since stopped talking about her mother's deliberate silence. I hear all their voices. They don't cohere, they come and go. They like to hide. When I get too close to them, they flee. That's how it seems, anyway. I think it might be possible to tell Paula's life story with their help. I want to get to the bottom of it. She was my grandmother. Thank you.